Welcome, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Agents in the Trenches, the real life struggles of agents in this new market. Today, we have a phenomenal topic to go over, and it's the struggle of agents activating themselves to go to that next level of production, or activating themselves to do the things that they know they need to do on a daily basis, even if they don't feel like doing it, or to activate themselves and really push themselves beyond their comfort zone. So I'm super excited to bring this topic to everyone that's going to be watching now live or on replay. And I want to introduce my running partner in this journey of Agents in the Trenches, the real life struggles of realtors in this new market, Talia Miranda. Introduce yourself, Talia.
Hi, thank you, Lucy. I'm so happy to be here. I think this topic is amazing. The more we know about ourselves and what pushes us to that next level, the better we're able to perform and evolve in this game of life. So I'm super excited. My name is Talia. This is year 2 of me being an agent in the trenches and learning and growing every day. It's been a struggle, but we're going to make it out on the other side.
Absolutely. You know, when we talk about the word activating ourselves, we really don't think of the need to do that, right? We get into real estate. Real estate has a gazillion myths. What's one of the myths, guys, that you can drop in the comments when we get into real estate? What's one of the myths? I want to be my own boss, right? Like, if that was even easy to do, being your own boss is probably one of the, most defying, most challenging things that we can do, because at the end of the day, a lot of people get into real estate and they've never been anyone's boss, much less your own, where you can just call out, not do what you need to do, leave everything for tomorrow. I mean, you can literally wake up and say, I'm going to take the next 2 weeks off. But what really happens when we are not activating ourselves on a daily basis? That's the power behind this conversation and the message that we want to bring forward. What are your thoughts on this activation process that realtors need to utilize on a daily basis?
I think it's groundbreaking. Once you find out what really pushes someone to activate yourself, you kind of see things a little bit differently. And I believe in it, and I believe that everybody is motivated by one thing or another. And once you find out what that thing is, you can actually use it as leverage. I want to go back to what you were saying, that becoming your own boss, right? You've never been someone's boss before, but now you are your own boss. So I've been in this industry with an accountability and without an accountability partner, and I see the difference. So if you're coming in and you think that you can be your own boss off of the rip and not have somebody to hold you accountable, I think that's one of the biggest mistakes that real estate agents make coming into the industry. So accountability is also huge.
And a lot of people don't know about accountability in our industry. Tell us a little bit more. Break it down for those that may not be familiar with the term accountability, or that have never even heard of it in the way of, this is something you need to implement in your business every single day. Break it down for us.
I think you said it best the other day when you were talking about when you're at the gym, right? And you're working out and you have somebody to spot you at the gym, making sure that you're going, at the pace that is healthy for you and that is moving towards your goals, right? And in the event that you need help, right? They got you, they spot you in that moment. So I think that's the best way. You put it 100%, you nailed it in the head when you said that it's like a partner in the gym. That's an accountability person, someone that's going to keep you on track to your goals and is going to hold you to it at the end of every day or week, depending on how you and your accountability partner have it structured. I think daily check-ins is probably the best, because we know that every day the clock resets. We know that everything that you do today is going to, the results are going to come in 3 months later. So it's important to, check off all of the boxes when it comes to our daily method of operations and our income-producing activities. So accountability is just accountability partner is someone to hold your feet to the fire, I would say.
So the other day I was having a conversation with an agent, because we've been having a lot of conversations with real estate agents, and the real conversations of, so what's happening out there Tell us about your struggles. Tell us about what you are actively confronting in this new market. And this agent said to me, oh yeah, I have an accountability. Actually, I have a lot of accountability people, because I can go to anyone in my office and ask them a question. And I was like, maybe that's, and I didn't tell him this, but I thought, right? And I want to share it here. Maybe that's the first place to start, is understanding what is an accountability partner. It's not asking anyone in your office a question. There's a lot of people that are super nice, super willing to help the newer agents or other agents in the offices. But accountability partner, give us a little bit of a demonstration, or break it down for us. What does that look like? Because people may not understand really what it looks like. I gave the example of being at the gym with that spotter, but bring it to the real estate arena in your experience and how you have experienced accountability through what we do. Break it down for us.
So when you find someone who is willing to be your accountability partner, you guys break down the goals and what you're looking to achieve in your real estate business, right? So if you tell that person, okay, my goal today is to set one appointment, which is, that's always been the goal for us, and what we're doing when we're working in prospecting and all of that stuff is setting that one appointment. So the accountability partner, what their job and what they are supposed to do in this moment or that day is reach out to you and say, hey, so how did your call go? Did you set your appointment? All right, well, it's 3:00. It's not too late. Go back on the phone, dial it up. Don't stop until you get that appointment. That is what that accountability partner is meant to do, to push you, and so like that you can actually achieve your goal. So, and then vice versa. So that you should be doing the same to your accountability partner if they're open to it as well. So that is like a real life example. I've had that among our team as well, where we all prospect together, and that goal in those 2 or 3 hours, however long we're prospecting, is okay, we set an appointment and then we celebrate about it. Like we're all just clapping and like pushing each other to that limit. So that's what I would say, like that's how it looks like in the real estate realm.
And one of the most important things that I think anyone and everyone needs to keep in mind about your accountability partner needs to be someone that is at a higher level, someone that has done. Super important, man, because a lot of times because we don't want to be put under pressure, because it's human to want to be in your comfort zone. We tend to look for accountability partners that are going to just let us get away with anything, So did you make your calls? No, I got busy. No, I really didn't get a chance. My day just went by too fast. I had a whole bunch of phone calls. Have you written your contracts? No, I've been calling people, but they don't answer the phone. An accountability partner is someone that, number one, drop this in the chat. Number one, a great accountability partner for you is someone that is at a higher level than you, or that is willing to play at a higher level than you. And that is a big one. Guys, a lot of people are in real estate and they say they want to make a lot of money, but they're not willing to play at a higher level. They're not willing to activate themselves. And that's why we're having this conversation. And we're going to, kind of dissect it a little bit more in a second. So how do I activate myself on a daily basis to go to that next level, to reach that next level of performance? Because the truth of the matter is that we are all lazy. When it comes to our humanism, we are lazy. We don't want to do the things we know we have to do when we know we have to do them. We will look for all the reasons and all the excuses and all the whys. I cannot do this today. And that's where that accountability partner comes in and says, listen, hold on. I need to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you the truth, and the truth shall set you free, right? Yes. So drop that in the chats, guys. Your accountability partner must be someone that is at a higher level or willing to play at a higher level, right? And put your feet to the fire. And you have to be humble. There's nothing worse than trying to help someone that says they wanted help, and then having them give pushback, resistance, and blame shifting. Have you ever had that happen? Because I know you've held a couple of the mentees that we've had accountable. Have you ever experienced any stories you can share with us about that resistance, that pushback, that blame shifting?
Well, exactly what you said is, immediately it's the excuses. Like they feel like they have to defend themselves. And I'm like, no, you don't. I mean, it's good that you know what got in your way, but at the end of the day, I'm not here to say, oh, it's okay. No, it's fine. You can do it tomorrow. No, as an accountability partner, I'm like, okay, well, let's go. What's I mean, we still have the day's not over. Let's, what if you have to shift a little bit, take a little mindset break. Let's take that mindset break and then go back to it. But also, coming to terms to what got in your way. I think that's good, but don't stop at making the excuses. I think the a couple of people that I can think of, like they just stop at those excuses and now they're, they I think they put themselves in a position where they feel like they have to defend themselves, and then they put themselves down, and it's like, no, don't do that. Don't put
Right.
yourself down. It's okay to, come to terms with it, but don't put yourself down because the day's not over.
And here's the thing, a lot of times our best defense is becoming a victim. So the best way I can defend myself is by victimizing myself, so that obviously the person that is holding me accountable can feel bad for me. So let me be the woe is me. Let me have a pity party so that my accountability partner is not so tough on me. And that is the worst thing we can do. So the accountability partner must be someone that is at a higher level or willing to play at a higher level, and that is going to love you enough to tell you the truth. Guys, listen, there's people that are going to tell you what you want to hear, right? And then there's people that are going to tell you the truth because they really care and love you. You have to make a decision based on what you say, because we all say, I want to make $1 million. We all say, I want to earn 6 figures in real estate, but are we executing at that level? So let's break down this activation philosophy that we have now, encountered, that we are learning, and that we are implementing. So this activation that we are talking about is every single realtor needs to understand that there is something that is going to trigger or stimulate you to take you to that next level. There has to be something. And there is something. Your job is to find out what it is. And I love the way that Coach Burt says it. He says, a lot of people are told, find your why. But even with your why, you won't. That's my version, right? That's my version of what he says. Even so, put a number 2 in the chat if you're listening to this and you realize that a lot of times, even with our why, we won't. Even knowing our why. Oh, my child, my kids, my family, they're my why. I want to give them an awesome future. I want to be able to provide for them. I want to, leave them generational wealth. I want to create financial legacy for my family. So the question is this: if that's your why, can you raise your hand, be humble, transparent, and vulnerable, and say, even though I know that's my why, I still have found myself in a won't position. I still have found myself in a position where I won't do what I know I'm supposed to do. I won't do what gets me out of my comfort zone. I won't do what I know will take me to that next level, even though I know my why. What are your thoughts on that, Tali?
I think I've been in that situation, where I don't want to do the things that I need to do. And it's true what you're saying, even if you think about, okay, why am I doing this? Sometimes that's still not enough to push yourself out of that funk that you're feeling in that moment. So, when you're not aware of the things that can motivate you, because sometimes, we hear, oh, this is something inspirational, motivational, stuff like that. And that might work for some people, but it doesn't work for everyone. I've had a mentee that I was helping out, and I would tell them, when you feel that way, turn on something in YouTube, search up something inspirational, motivational, and they would do it, and they still was fighting to get out of that funk, even listening to the things. So I think it's spot on what you're saying.
So the number one thing we need to recognize, and we have to own it. So a lot of people get into real estate right now, and that's why it's such a struggle for them, because they don't have the right mindset. They're still bombarded with the wrong, stinking thinking. They're still surrounded by people that are playing at a very low level. Okay. Drop a number 3 in the chat if you know what I'm talking about. When you are playing at a low level, I mean, you know it. You know you're not giving it your all. You know you're playing at a low level. No one has to tell you this, right? But yet we're still playing at a low level. And if we're surrounded by low level players, we're never gonna be a pro player ourselves. Listen to me closely. If you are surrounded by low level players, you are never going to be able to go to a pro player level. That is so powerful right there. And that is why you need to learn this topic about, activating yourself. So we all have a trigger. And if you want to jump in, Talia, just go ahead and jump in. You don't have to wait for me to stop. Just go ahead and say, let's have an open conversation about this. Because activating ourselves is super important. Like, I know for a fact, and I was sharing this morning in my Latin American Spanish live that I do every morning on Instagram, right? I've been doing it since May 6th. It's going to be 1 year that I've been doing it nonstop, because I was committed to finding the Latino community in and around my area, nationally and internationally, and bringing to them the best that I've learned and what I've done to reach my level of success. And I was telling them this morning that, every morning we need to activate ourselves, and we all have a trigger for activating ourselves. And I said to them, listen, I know there are problems and there are things that we need to handle and take care of that have been just lingering for months and months and months, and we procrastinate and we don't want to confront it. We don't want to do it. And then suddenly we are faced with the lion, right? The hungry lion in front of us, ready to devour us. And boom, we are able to activate ourselves to the level that not only do we confront the issue, we overcome the issue, we slay the lion, and we come on the other side with the solution. And so we could have done that all along.
Yeah.
We could have done that all along.
So I love what when Coach Burr, he talks about like a certain word, he defines it. So I would love to define what an activator is. Okay. So he says here that activators is something external turns your want to up a notch and switches to a higher gear that helps you expand your mind and your actions. So do you want to go over the 5 activators that that we face?
Yes. So one of the biggest activators for most of us is fear, right? So we're scared we're going to get our lights turned off. If we're fearful that we're going to lose our job, if we are fearful that, hey, I'm not going to have enough money to pay my bills, whatever the situation is, right? Fear normally pushes us into massive action. And it's crazy how, and it's happened to me in the past as well. I mean, I have been guilty. There's no shame in this game. There's no shame. There's no judgment. We're all, observers of what are the struggles that agents, team leaders, and brokers are facing right now. And there's no shame in bringing the conversation and saying, listen, fear is a huge activator. Like, we have all encountered being activated by fear. Competition, when we want to get that prize, when we want to do what we know we're capable of doing, because I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. My competitiveness comes out, my competitive edge comes out. So we all have that friendly competitive edge, right, that we can utilize to activate ourselves. And we have at one point or another, we've said, you know what, man, I am sick and tired of being sick and tired. Screw this. I'm gonna sprint into success, because I'm tired of just getting by. I'm tired of having a job that I hate. I'm tired. And so that is an activator. And so we've been there. Your environment. I mean, when we go to these conferences that we go to, and we hear these pro players talk about what they do and how they do it, and talk about the fact that, listen, there's still things I don't want to do on a daily basis. There's still things that I hate doing on a daily basis. There's still things that if I let myself, I will fall off track because I don't want to do it, because I'm lazy, because the laziness just comes out from within me. But I get in the right environment. That's why I tell real estate agents, if you are working from home, that's okay maybe for a day or two, as long as you're very disciplined, but you're not going to be a pro player, um, at the maximum level of your potential unless you are in the right environment. Now, if you are investing $1,000 a month, $5,000 a month to have a coach, yeah, that's going to be part of your environment. That coach is going to, hold you accountable. First of all, you're paying $1,000 a month, which everybody should, for a coach, because coaches are not just there to give you their time. You're not paying for their time. You're paying for their talent, their experience, their arsenal of resources and tools, and most of all, for the experience that they're going to help you get to where you want to go faster. And that's where realtors need to understand. I mean, pro players invest $40,000, $50,000 a year in their education. What do you mean you're not even spending $100 a month to hire a mentor? I mean, don't even get me started on that. But we want to make $10,000 a month, but we don't want to spend or invest, rather, $200 a month on a mentor that is going to guide us and show us. So your environment is super important. If you are at home, working from home, come on, man. Come on now. Let's be real. Drop a number 4 in the chat if you can honestly say, I am not as productive at home as I am in the office. And yes, I know there's offices that are full with drama, gossip, murmuring, grumbling, complaining, water cooler conversations, coffee cup conversations. But we need to be able to focus. And if you're not in a good environment at the office, well, maybe you're in the wrong office. Just like your circle. If your circle is not the right environment, maybe you're in the wrong circle. And then the last one is, embarrassment. Like, you don't want to listen. Like, we know nobody has to come and look at our, profit, P&L, profit and loss statement. Nobody has to come and look at our bank account. We know. Am I playing at my maximum level of potential? Am I playing out? Am I playing all out? Or am I just, holding back?
We're missing one more, the last one.
Which one is that one? Help me out with that one.
Exposure.
Go ahead. Tell us about that one.
So exposure, being close, it kind of goes with environment. Being close to and seeing something magical is inspiring. Exposure brings to mind a leadership camp that he was fortunate enough to attend 15 years ago, where the academy exposed him to development and bigger future. So like you were mentioning, being in those rooms where the conferences and people, talking about their achievements and how they got there. That exposure alone can propel you.
Right.
So I'll put that in number 5, exposure.
Yes. So we're talking, and so how do we take this and make this part of our daily methodology? That's where the secret is at. So if you're an agent that's out there struggling, and listen, it's still a great time to get into real estate, but you got to get in the right way. Drop that in the chat for me. Get into real estate, but get in the right way. You have to have the people that are able to do what they say they're going to do. You have to be in the right environment. You have to have someone igniting your competitive edge. You need to have someone, huddling with you and cuddling with you. There's times to huddle, there's times to cuddle, but you got to get into real estate and get in the right way. And there's many people right now, Talia, let me tell you, there's many team leaders, agents, brokers that need to pivot. What you have been doing for the last 5, 10, 15 years in real estate is not going to get you where you want to go. It's just not. The world is not changing. This real estate world has changed. It is a new day. It is a new era. It is a new generation. The consumer has changed. The way the consumer engages with their agents has changed. Your message has to be updated. Your brand has to be updated. Your image has to be updated. You need to show up and show out. You need to rise up, level up, and show up every day. Every day. Because here's the problem. Agents think that, oh, well, today I don't have to do what I'm supposed to do, but I'll do it tomorrow. Tell me the truth, Talia. Does every day count?
Yes, every day counts.
Every day counts. Every single day counts. So if you are too big to follow and learn and become a student again, if you're too big to follow, you are too small to lead. You're too small to lead. If you're too big to follow, you're too small to lead. Because, people right now, we are all in an even playing field. And that's what I love about this. We are all in an even playing field. I don't care if your name is, Maxi Mama or Maxi Papa listing agent. You got to show up and you got to overperform. You got to outperform. And so what's it going to take? How are you going to, show your seller? What are you putting in place? That's why we're doing the open house project. Take a couple seconds to talk about the open house project that we are having. Okay, put yourself in the if you want to learn more about the open house project, here's what it's about. It is about me giving you an orientation on how I teach, how I have been teaching open houses for the last 15 years, more or less. 15 years? Actually, yeah, but it really took off in 2012. How many years is that? 2012? Yeah, 10 years, almost 10 years that I've been teaching about mega open houses. I learned this back in the year 2003 with my teacher, trainer, coach back then, Mike Ferry, but it has evolved and I have evolved with it. So it is about, talking. So how do we do an open house that becomes a mega attraction? And how do we leverage open houses to building business? So that is what I decided to do. And why am I doing that? Because I'm positioning myself to have a new strategy. And yes, I'm inviting agents from other brands, other affiliations. If you didn't know this, I'll be happy to share with you. There is no law against you doing joint ventures with other agents. It's just a lot of agents don't know that they can do joint ventures and then make it a win-win. So that's what we're doing with the open house, making a win-win situation for everyone.
Yes, I'm super excited. We have 3 orientations this weekend with agents that raised their hands and said, yes, I want to learn, I want to grow, I'm open-minded. So I'm really, really happy about that. And I think it's going to be a great initiative. And quite frankly, I think this is going to be the future of real estate. You're always big on collaborating, right? So the more we collaborate with other agents, the more they're going to want to collaborate with other agents. So, this is breaking that culture. And I think this is going to be super big. I know it, I feel it, and I'm super excited for it.
And I'm having fun and I love it. I'm having fun, being able to collaborate and work with other agents from other brands, other logos, other affiliations, and still make it a win-win, right? So it's not for everyone, but if you're open-minded about your business, reach out to Talia. Talia will drop her number in the chat. Reach out to Talia and connect with her so we can have a 15-minute discovery call. We're looking for alignment. We're looking for like-minded people. We're looking for hungry to grow and go to the next level people. And this open house project, is designed. And look, we're going to give you the orientation. So like Talia said, we're having orientations with 3 agents already this weekend. And once you have the knowledge, we can't take it back. But I put together a way to make it a win-win so that we can all grow. I think in this season of real estate, it is a matter of, coming together, because togetherness is going to bring, prosperity and growth. Togetherness is going to bring prosperity and growth. Ego is not a modern day currency. Collaboration is a modern day currency. And so I'm super excited about that. So, Talia, I'm super happy that we were able to talk about activating ourselves. Everyone, activating yourself on a daily, on a daily basis, and really pushing yourself to that next level. So there's so much more that we can talk about this. But guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for watching, and we will see you on the next episode of Agents in the Trenches. Nos
Yes,
vemos
thank
pronto.
you.
Bye,
Have a
guys.
good weekend.